All right, some more numbers for you here. These tied to the coronavirus pandemic. 1,193 new cases reported here in Michigan tonight. The total now more than 573,000. MDHHS also reports 11 new deaths. That brings our total lost to 15,062. The pandemic's looming effects are now starting to take a toll on students, and it's causing them to be less engaged in the classroom. Luckily, though, community events like a Valentine's food giveaway at Potter Elementary School today can give them some interaction. But as Mid-Michigan Now's Remy Murray reports, mental health counselors say more is needed.
During a time where a lot of social interaction isn't happening in schools, community members and mental health counselors say events like today's Valentine's food giveaway is important for families and students. According to mental health counselors, there are a lot of socialization issues students are missing from not having in-person learning. Mental health counselors are also finding students are more irritable and angry because they don't have an outlet to release their frustrations. Luckily, today's Valentine's Day food giveaway gives students needed resources like books and food and some form of social interaction from seeing their teachers and other staff.
They're not in school, so they're not socializing. They're not with their peers, so they're not having that interaction. So it is extremely important for us to interact, for them to interact, and for them to see us visually.
At 10 and 11 tonight, we'll hear directly from mental health counselors to better understand what is causing students to be disengaged from the classroom. In Flint, Remy Murray, Mid-Michigan Now.
Well, right now, school districts, teachers, and parents are digesting some new guidance coming from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention about getting kids back in the classrooms. The nation's leading public health agency says in-person schooling can resume safely with masks, social distancing, and other strategies, but teacher vaccinations, while helpful, are not a prerequisite. Tonight, St. Clair medical reporter Liz Bonus shares how the new guidance takes the virus, its new variants, and their spread into consideration.
The CDC planning to classify schools into color-coded zones for reopening, according to the most recent information released. This then would lead to a phased reopening based on rates of community transmission.
The severity of outbreaks in each area said to be the key to safety when it comes to in-person learning. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends schools adopt what they call essential elements. These include wearing masks, physical distancing, and monitoring the spread of the community surrounding the school. The American Academy of Pediatrics has supported this position for months, saying kids need to be back to in-person learning for a number of reasons.
They absolutely need to go to school. Emergency room visits are definitely up for emotional and behavioral changes and visits related to emotional and behavioral health. So we're seeing that across the country.
The CDC also says all schools can safely reopen for full in-person learning in communities that report fewer than 50 new cases per 100,000 residents over the past 7 days and have a positivity rate lower than 8%. Most states already use a color-coded system based on these numbers. If numbers are higher than this, the CDC says schools may be able to reopen in person, but need to limit days or even have stricter methods of infection protection.
Now, as with many guidelines in this pandemic, details expected to change with new guidance as we learn more along the way. I'm medical reporter Liz Bonus. We'll throw it back to you.
Well, new